Hello, welcome to the channel. Today I'm going to embark on sharing history with you guys. I'm going to share what we have been using all school year long for our history curriculum. This is not a review, so if you're looking for a review, stick around. I will give you a full picture of what we felt about the curriculum and all the resources we pulled together in about a month and a half or so, because we will be done with it. So make sure you subscribe if you want to see that. But right now, I just want to share what we're actually using, because I know that people are looking for a curriculum. This is that time of year, and I hadn't done it. I've been putting it off for various reasons that I will share at some point, but I've just been putting it off. If you followed along on this channel for a while, you know that over the last 2.5 years, I have tried various history curriculum, and one of them I went back and forth, start, stop. Finally decided after 2.5 years, okay, this is not working for us. But I wanted it to work so bad, but it wasn't working. So anyway, we switched at the beginning of this school year, 2022, 2023. And so I'm just going to share with you what we have and how we're using all of it. The first thing is, what I will say is our textbook spine is we are using America's Story 1. This is by Master Books. Angela Odell is the writer of this curriculum, and we decided to use this. I had a friend of mine who was using it. She really loved it. I will give you some background too. I am not a history buff. Do I enjoy learning about it, or I say relearning, because a lot of this I'm pretty sure I crossed over in my educational career at some point, but I'm learning it again with my girls. And I have a very different perspective of history now as an adult woman, of course. And so we're doing this together. And I'm not a big history person. I don't necessarily dive into history unless I'm looking for something specific. So America's Story 1. What you will get with America's Story, if you buy, this is my little bookmark, if you buy the packet by Master Books, is you will get this, which is the textbook. Okay, and America's Story, just like all Master Books, is more of like a Charlotte Mason style, living education. You're reading stories, they're coming to life, they're putting you in those stories. This is geared for grades 3rd through 6th grade. And here is the teacher's guide. Within your teacher's guide, you're going to find all of your worksheets. You're going to get like oral narration, written narration, drawing, sketch work, and geography work. There's also a glossary at the end. Here is your textbook, which has the stories within it. So let me show you in this one. So you have your stories here. You're going to see pictures, lots of different things. They're lined out as chapters, and there are 28 chapters. Within it, each chapter has like 2 sections. So you'll read the first section, and then it may have a question. Let me find one that says, a narration break is what they call them here. And then there's a question here that your child would answer. You can either do that orally, you could then switch to the worksheets within the teacher's guide. However you choose to do that is totally up to you. I will be honest, we don't use this. We don't use it at all. Yeah, we don't use it. So we're reading here in the stories. It really comes to life. And the great thing about it is I have a 4th grader and a 5th grader. They do majority of the reading. I don't have to do it. I do help them with words, because there are some challenging words within the readings, but I don't have to do it. We sit down and read. I usually read the beginning, the intro, and then I read the outro is what I call it, where it has like questions for you to ponder, what you might go over in the beginning, questions for you to ponder and answer at the end, just orally. So I will read that. There are also pictures for you to read about specific time frames. For example, here, and you'll read the caption for all of the pictures, and it goes along with whatever that chapter was talking about. This America's Story 1 covers from like the beginning of time, so like who lived here first, Native Americans, all the way up to about 1850. There's also America's Story 2 and America's Story 3, just to let you know that. So that is what we have been using for our daily, I say daily reading. We do about 2 chapters a week. And you're actually, according to the schedule, you should only do 1 chapter a week. This should take you the full like 28 to 30 weeks if you're doing 1 chapter a week. We do more than that though. And so that is what we're using for our spine of work. There are some different things that you can get with it. You can buy additional timeline cards online for about $8 on Master Books website, and they will email those to you. That is great. Also, in the back of the teacher's manual, there are timeline cards. They look like this. They're black and white. The other ones, the packet that you purchase separate from the curriculum is in color. And I printed those off on cardstock and we cut them out, laminated them, all the things. So that's great to have a timeline. If your child is a visual learner, that's awesome. I really do like the Charlotte Mason style, especially for history, because I don't know any way to make history come to life outside of field trips. And where we live, we don't have a lot of these historical landmarks that are talked about in America's Story 1 within our area to actually go and visit them. We just don't live in that area. So that's a little hard for us. So we do really enjoy the stories, which is why I decided to, this is the next resource that I am using to, let me go back. When the girls are working through this textbook and we get to those narration breaks where it has the questions for them, they just have a spiral notebook and they simply will answer the questions based on in here, just like this. There's usually 2 questions, maybe 3 if they kind of break them apart. Maybe a question has 2 parts, but they just simply write it in here. We read it, we discuss it. That's the extent of our America's Story use. And then we go to the timeline and they create the timeline on the board, and I'll show you that. Here is a timeline board that we have created. You will get these dates as a part of the packet if you purchase the online one. There's also one in the back of the book, but it's not in color. So these have been laminated. The girls will come in and put these on here. This is actually page number 4 for us. And this is just poster board from the dollar store. And we add in the different dates. Any African Americans that we come across, we also add them to our board. Like we have Benjamin Banneker here. And we'll add those additional ones. And as I said, right now we have 4. So here are some others that we looked up for the specific time frame of like the early 1500s. We added those to our board as well. And this just gives us a good timeline of what was going on in history. It's more of a visual aid to help us through our history curriculum. So because I felt like this America's Story 1 was not enough, that is what I've been struggling with when it comes to history curricula for forever. People are going to put in there what they feel like is important information. And there are things that are more important in the Tillman household that I would like in a history curriculum that I have not been able to find. I want a balance. I simply just want a balance of European American history along with African American history, Native American history. I want it all when we are talking about America's story. I want it all. And I have yet to be able to find it. So I've had to supplement, which has really been great though, because what I chose to supplement with has been awesome. And it's been age appropriate for my girls. That was one of the issues that I had with the other curriculum that I started and stopped for 2.5 years, is that it was just not age appropriate for our girls. It was just a little bit above where I wanted us to be, especially starting out with history. But we still have it. I'm gonna go back to it when the time is right. So what I did in order to supplement, which is more age appropriate for my girls, so I have kindergarten, 4th grade, and 5th grade, is I decided to get this curriculum here. And this is Our History, His Story. And this is the primary level volume 1. There are 2 volumes to this curriculum. So this is using literature to weave the African American presence into the fabric of early American history, which if you are studying and using any history curriculum, let's be honest, there is not a huge African American and sometimes even Native American presence within the curriculum. There are so many African Americans and Native Americans that were instrumental in helping to build this country, and they deserve to be recognized within the different curriculums that we are studying and trying to educate our children fully on, and it's just not happening. I'm gonna get off my soapbox right now. Okay, so this is by Belinda Bullard, and what it is a curriculum that is really based off of books. Pretty much it is simply books. I haven't done a flip through of this one either. Let me take my little bookmark out of here. I make up bookmarks, y'all. It's not really a bookmark. But in this curriculum, in the beginning of it, and I've marked it up, it talks about how to use this guide and what is in it. And it does go by weeks, and it tells you what to read every day, the specific books. I'm going to skip to the book list. And I've marked it all up of like what's at our library, what we have at home, what I can buy off Amazon, those types of things. This is the book list. And this curriculum really closely follows a lot of the other American history curriculum. So it goes up to a little bit past 1850. I want to say maybe to about 1900. So when we are finished with America's Story 1, we will stop with this one so that we're not getting ahead of what we're learning currently. So that's how I've been using it. It also gives you a resource list here, different supply lists that you might need, because there are some activities. There's cooking within this curriculum. We did like a fry bread recipe and sweet potato pie, sweet potato smoothie, different things. There's also timelines, because timelines really help your history come to life. If you can put it up on a board and see it and say, okay, this is what was happening, and just really helps everything flow along with what you are already reading. So there's timeline here. This goes up to, it looks like the Reconstruction period, which is 1871. America's Story, like I said, stops about 1850, just before the Civil War. Okay, so, and I feel all like educated, y'all, because I don't memorize a whole lot of dates when it comes to history, but just to know that, okay, I know what this is, or I recall this, I can dig further into this. It feels really good to be at a point like that. I was very resistant to that. History is just not my thing. And I'm okay with admitting that. That will be something that will be outsourced later on, I'm pretty sure. So here is the suggested reading plan. It is, like I said, a Charlotte Mason style. You are going to be reading tons of age-appropriate books, picture books. It's been really fun to get these books. Now, some of the books are a little hard to come by. I did have to purchase a few of them, and then some of them were at our library. I also found some on Amazon. So it's been a whole search process, but I'm glad to have it. So this one goes through and it tells you all of the weeks. And I believe it goes through, there are 32 weeks, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, a total of 32 weeks within this curriculum. It gives you a map, so geography, it gives you the reading, and then it also gives you like hands-on activities, arts and crafts. We did corn husk dolls. We made a Native American vest. There are lots of activities within the curriculum. So it gives you a parent section as well. But what I have used this for, also another thing, I've used it for the books mainly in some of the activities, but also homeschool trips. It gives you different locations for African American and Native American field trips and resources and museums, those types of things to help your curriculum come to life, which I love. I love this. This does give you more of the African American perspective with regards to American history. I'm going to share with you guys some of the books that we have read and are currently reading, but this one, The Kidnapped Prince, I pronounce his name wrong, The Life of Aluda Ekuna. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong, but we just finished this book a couple of weeks ago. This shows you the varying perspectives of slaves. That's what I'll say to that. We have not started reading this one, but this is on the list. It's coming up for us. This is Dear America, The Diary of Patsy, a Freed Girl. And this is, I Thought My Soul Would Rise and Fly. So this is one for reading for us. I checked this out from our library. We also have Black Heroes of the American Revolution. This one we actually were using along with the other history curriculum, and I purchased it, and I'm glad I did. So there are a lot of correlations. If you find a history curriculum that is really trying to weave in the African American and Native American experience within history, you're gonna find a lot of books that are similar, which is great. I just wanted them to be more age appropriate for my girls, and we can increase in difficulty or I don't know if it's difficulty, but yeah, maybe so, as they get older. So some other books that are a part of this curriculum, which is the Our History, His Story. We have Abe Lincoln, A Boy Who Loved Books. That one. Then we read this one yesterday, and this is Now and Ben, about Benjamin Franklin and some of the amazing inventions that he had. So as you can see, it's not just African American books. There are tons. There are also others on Native Americans as well. And so I'm happy to be able to weave this in to our history curriculum so that we can really get as full of a picture as possible. I have to make the effort to make this a full picture for our family within our homeschool. Some other resources that I pull in, of course, everybody loves these, are the Who Was books. So here we have Who Was George Washington. We have What Was the Declaration of Independence? What was the Lewis and Clark expedition? And this is just a few. What was the first Thanksgiving? I use these books are typically independent reads for my older daughters because they can go through these books in a couple of days. So when they spend their time reading in the evenings before they go to bed, these are the books that they will go through along with other things that they choose. But because they can go through these so quickly, these are really easy reads and they enjoy them. So these are good to have. Some books that a friend gave me, it is What's the Big Deal About Americans? This is another one. And then this one is from the Magic Tree House, and it is The Revolutionary War on Wednesday. That's just a few. We have a lot more books on history. Some other things that we haven't used just yet, we're going to wait until we move to our second part of American history, are the Evan Moore history packets, which are really great with lots of different activities in them. Jennifer over at Homeschool with Jen is amazing at history. She loves history. Her daughter loves history. So if you are looking for additional history resources outside of what I have shown you, hop over to Jen's page because she has a ton of history resources. So that is what we're using to put together what I feel like is a comprehensive whole picture, as much as I can provide for our family, of American history. Make sure that you subscribe because when I do a review, I'm going to tell you what we liked, what we didn't like about both of the curriculums that we are using for history.